Hi, my name is Chris Fonseca. SECA is my artist name, and I painted this mural here. It's called The Love Letter, and it is originally written to um, San Antonio, but since we're talking about the World Fair that the Hemisphere hosted, I just thought this is also a love letter to the world. And there's a lot of esoteric stuff, which just means it's hidden in imagery or hidden imagery with symbols and different icons and different things. And there's a bunch of story packed into each one of these esoteric symbols. So let's go ahead and dig in. First of all, this is the plaque that you're going to be able to see on the mural, and you can scan it and get this video here. So, hello, if you scanned from the mural, thank you for scanning. I never know if QR codes are actually working, so if you're here, that means it worked. Let's continue here. So these are the sections. They're all color coded and they're found on the mural. And if you bought the transparency pack, you can actually take that transparency pack and overlay it right onto this white section, and it'll perfectly line up with the section that you're learning about. This is a bit of a living document because there are pieces and parts that are not complete, and that was kind of on purpose because I don't want to be the only one who's contributing to the this history. If this is the world's history, I want to park new information into this document to kind of add to this document so it's more rich and just more people are involved than just me, because I'm not by any means a studied historian. A lot of the images that I pulled into this mural were really kind of like intuitive ideas that were either inspired by like me working on this mural or people's interactions while I was working on this mural. So there's a lot of the stuff that I added on the fly that that have to do with the history of this world. So the first thing is the Toltec statue. This Toltec statue is found in sacred Tula, Mexico, and that one is located right there. And then the next is the Olmec head. It's a replica that there's a bunch of them floating around Texas and I think all over the world. But I think there's a lot of artists that actually created these, but it's also shrouded in mystery as far as like some of these artists and who made it. And I tried to credit as many as I could, but this stuff is not very well documented, and I don't know if that's intentional or if I'm just like a not that good of a researcher, but I tried to do my due diligence here. And then the third is this statue right here, and that's kind of like the taller statue. I'm not sure where that's located. Probably San Antonians will know exactly where this is, but that's that sculpture there. Fourth is the quadrifold or the quadrifoil. It is this shape right here. You've seen it repeated over and over again in a lot of San Antonio branding. You'll see the city trucks and city workers and stuff. They all have this logo here. So I made that kind of front and center just because it's such a popular shape here in San Antonio. How could you miss it? And if you missed it, well, it's right here. Tower of Americas, we all know that looking thing. I call it the Space Needle looking thing because when I lived in Seattle, there was a Space Needle. It looks a lot more like squished, but this is like a taller version. It has like a restaurant in there. It's really cool to visit. If you ever are in San Antonio, go visit that. Sixth is the water features. I've seen a lot of water features that just have staircases and the water kind of runs down the staircase. So I made those part of the mural as well. And then the World Fair Ferris wheel, which is found right here. That's just one of the Ferris wheels that were at the World Fair. I wasn't there, couldn't tell you, but I heard it was a hoot. Next up is the time structure. So this time structure just came to me, and there's actually like I had a dream of like a time structure that didn't look like this, but it was definitely as vast and as huge as this is. So the time structure in this mural, it's a concept. Let me just go ahead and read this part here. A concept that we as humans have made to remind us of every passing second of our existence. We started counting since we were born. Every reference point, we remember what a second feels like, then a minute, then an hour, and so on. There are moments where time loses its influence on us, and we slip past the illusion that there was ever a separation between past, present, and future, where we engage in the present and see the whole of existence as one, or in one flash. So these are like those intuitions and those sparks, those ideas that you like see, you cast yourself in the future, or maybe like you connected to a memory that you didn't remember, or you're reconstructing that memory to tell a beneficial story. That's what happens with a lot of like healing and stuff. Anyway, so the time structure, like in the mural, I made sure to put like these the Mayan and Aztec symbols, and Mesoamerican, Chichimecan symbology. I don't know if that's a word. And just a bunch of like different hieroglyphs and stuff that I just kind of added in here. And then as we get into the future's feminine, so there's a lot of like features here that are not necessarily exist in any ancient texts, but I just kind of took liberty and made up my own patterns and different things. And that was a really fun section of the mural. And then as you can see, like there's these structures that kind of go past and then go straight up into the sky. Those are just like different timelines, because again, like there's the history we've been told, and then there's the history that other people tell that is completely different from the history that we've been told, especially in like public schools and stuff. And so there's a lot of lines of history that the more that you're aware of these things, the more you will have like a better understanding of our human history. Water memory. So this is a kind of a new subject that I was turned on to by a few different scientists and different podcasts that I've heard. But I wanted to include this because water is past time. So like it doesn't adhere to the rules of time, and it's really cool because within the mural, what I did is basically just made the skyline all the same. And then this water feature is in the past, present, and future as well. And, I was just kind of nodding my hat to the intelligence of water and the memory of water. So let's go ahead and read this section right here. Water is a hexagonal lattice condensed when frozen and responds to thought, so what you think, with image likeness of what was thought. It's also the only element that holds the ability to express itself in 5 different phases of matter, e.g., the solid phase, liquid phase, gaseous phase, easy water phase, which is, when water vibrates fast enough to where it can breach the cell wall. Because if you tried to put like a droplet of water into a cell, first of all, it'd explode because a droplet's way bigger than a cell. Secondly, it has like a viscous property at that small of a scale, at the cellular scale. And so you have to vibrate it in such a way where it actually like gets its way into the cell walls. And then there is plasma, which is the 5th phase of matter, or I don't know, there's a lot of different terms for it, but I call it the 5th phase, where it's basically just this white hot mass. Sometimes it's cold, In water especially, they call it like cold fusion. It's where you pressurize water and then you expose it to sound, and then that sound actually creates a bubble, and when it collapses it turns into a super white hot like explosion or implosion. It's really, really cool to see. It looks like a star when it's in a dark room, but that's what water does. And in this hexagonal lattice, can actually store actual like computer data bit information in that hexagonal lattice as long as it stays frozen, from my understanding. Again, this is a concept that I would love for people to add to, and just add more breadth to this knowledge set, because you can go deep on water. There's people that are talking about water like it's like a god, but it's pretty fantastic. The white buffaloes, calf woman arrived with the sacred bundle, the prayer pipe. She taught the people of 7 sacred ways to pray. These prayers are through ceremonies that include the sweat lodge for purification, naming ceremony for child naming, a healing ceremony to restore the body, mind, and spirit. Also, tribute to Larissa, Mateo, and me. So that's, again, the little family there. Yeah, so this is super cool. I love the idea of 7 sacred ways to pray. I only learned of like one way to pray, and it's with your hands folded and your eyes closed, and you say words. And if you're around people, they have to hear it. That's what I was taught. That is like one way of praying, and I have always been in prayer like ever since I was born. I think all of us have. And the way that we pray is many ways. So this 7 ways really kind of struck that thought in my mind, where I was like, wow, there are definitely many ways to pray. So I really like the idea of the white buffalo woman. She also teaches the harmony between earth and sky and like all of nature, which we are nature as well. So she has a lot to teach. If you ever want to look up that legend, check it out. Tal ol utom. So this is the center. So again, the first symbol or hieroglyph that you'll see is the tal, which it means first. And then ol is the center, which it's right here in the center, or present. And then otum is the future. And again, I'm trying to pronounce these as well as I can. Every nation and every tribe has symbols of quantum reactions. That's what these are here. So you got those esoteric symbols of, like, I know in like Olmec and Mexican culture, there is the spiral that like locks into another spiral, and they like both spiral out, but they join in the middle. That's found here and here. The Aztec, which it's a little bit more square. And then the yin yang is, we're all familiar with the yin yang. Nepal, it looks like a yin yang, but it's actually 3 shapes. Those are all found in the mural here. This is, again, my take, is they're all these ideas of this quantum reaction, and the quantum reaction happens in an instant. So you experience it and then it goes away. So that's pretty much what life is. That's what we're here on Earth. Like, it's just a blink of an eye, and it's a prolonged quantum reaction, so to speak. But it's still just like it's a flash. So that's what I mean by a quantum reaction. The present moment, or reaction between light and dark, future and past, matter. Let's use this moment for love. Yeah, let's love each other in this moment, because we only have one of these moments. Ancient wisdom. So ancient wisdom, this is really fun. I wanted to throw in like a bunch more dragons, but again, like, I only had so much time, and I put so much time into this mural I really wanted to show out for this. So forgive me for leaving out some of the dragons if your nationality was not included. This is one of those things where I would actually like to add to this mural some of those other dragons, like the Nordic dragon and some of the Finnish dragons. There's so many different dragons, and it all has to do with ancient wisdom. But let's go ahead and start with the first dragon. I call it the First Nation dragon, and it came from Africa. It's called the Aida Wedo, and it is the rainbow dragon, which signifies the light splitting into all the races. So like one true light, or like sunlight, and how it hits a prism, and then that prism like refracts all these different, like all the colors, infinite amount of colors. That's who the African race and the first people are. So let's never forget that they, if there was a master race, so dumb in that context, right? But like in this context, like they are the beginning, the seed race of all other races that are here on this earth today. So I wanted to honor them first, and they're found as the first dragon right here. It's kind of like shrouded in like clouds and stuff, but you can see the shape of it, and it's very unique. Also, I wanted to add that the silhouette of this creature was actually pulled from one of my son's drawings. He just, like, I feel like kids are so much closer to source, God, than any of us, because we've been here for a while, but kids just arrived. And so they pick up on really cool stuff. And my son, he picked up on this really cool dragon formation that I was like, wow, that's awesome. I'm gonna steal that, but I'm gonna give him all the credit. So the silhouette there is actually influenced by one of my son's drawings. Let's see. Number 2, the Japanese wood dragon. There's a lot of lore, a lot of legend behind this dragon as well. I didn't include it here because I'd like you guys to add meaning to that, especially somebody who is way more familiar with Japanese folklore and legends and history. So I need somebody to tap in there. The Quetzalcoatl, we know as the feathered serpent. That one's number 3 on the dragons list. And again, I want somebody to populate that. I know all about the Quetzalcoatl, but I want it to come from somebody who has deep ties to that culture. The Dragon of Regeneration. This is a creation of my own, or maybe it's not. But again, I picked up on this. So the Spirit of Regeneration, I have like a whole overlay dedicated to that, and it's, you know, it's in the past, it's in the present, and it's in the future. Fingers crossed. So let's get into it. So the axolotl is in many cultures the symbol of restoration. 2025 marks the year that the axolotl is supposed to go extinct. I put that in quotes because I believe that we're smart and we can prevent that. Use the earth in such a way where it would actually bring abundance like it wants to, and this species would come back. It is my hope. Legends speak of people made of corn because each variety has different medicinal health properties. So now we're talking about the 4 different corn that I put right next to the blue bonnet flower. I made sure to put this on here because, again, just like the axolotl, this year, the U.S. has kind of forced Mexico's hand to grow GMO corn down there. And there is so many species of corn down in Mexico, especially in Mexico, that they're endangered if we start growing GMO crops down there, because it's going to deplete the soil. It's going to cross-pollinate with those heirloom varieties and make them into annuals instead of perennials. Perennial means they will go on existing because they know how to self-pollinate and all that kind of stuff. And these are corns that will lose that ability or lose the ability to populate after their own kind if GMO is allowed to propagate down there. So kind of needs to be said, and I'm really hoping that the U.S. Redacts that demand, and either that or Mexico just says you can take your corn and shove it. Yeah, so if you want to read more about that, I basically just said everything there. And then the axolotl, let's talk about the spirit of regeneration here. So this is the axolotl dragon that I've created, and again, it's the spirit of restoration. And the spirit of restoration in the future looks like an axolotl that has been awakened because he has a third eye. And he has war paint on too, and I actually included that in the hieroglyph back there as well. But anything fighting for its life, it's got war paint on, and the axolotl right now is fighting for its life. And I'm hoping that in the future they will exist as well. Lastly, we have the native plants. The native plants are, I put the bluebonnet as number 1. White jasmine are growing, they're vining up the sides of the quadrifoil. And then number 3, the Indian blanket. That is it's a really popular flower. I had some growing out in my lawn for a little bit there because I didn't use Roundup or any kind of weed killer. I let that shit grow. You got to let it grow because these native plants are going to bring in native bees, pollinators that are going to help your crops grow if you're growing a food forest like I am, or trying to in my front yard. Number 4 is the purple lotus. That is found here, and that is a beautiful flower. I've seen it grow at the botanical gardens, and I haven't been to many lakes and ponds here in Texas, but I'm sure, again, fingers crossed, that they grow there as well. And the last is the morning glories. The morning glories, I didn't paint bloomed, or I didn't have them the flowers blossom, because I wanted to make that a choice. And here in this present moment, we get to choose what we blossom and what we let flower. And I'm hoping that the morning glory, since it's the dawn of a new day, you got a clean slate to express and bloom something that is beautiful, like the morning glory is. So let me add the last few documents here. So this is the original love letter that I wrote to get this house that I'm living in and that I'm recording this in right now. That was a pretty stressful time. This is the letter that I wrote to the owner, and she took pity on us because we were going right up against investing firms that were just buying houses blind. And so I lucked out and got this house. And then this is a little press that was done on me while I was working on the mural. Last is the document here. This is the original document that I pitched to Centro and the people that were funding the mural, Hemisphere as well, and the city of San Antonio. This was just a quick sketch. It has all the information here. This is the original name, but then I turned it into the love story, or the love letter, because, well, I'm the artist and I can. Again, I love you.